While California continues to try and find solutions to the drought, farm workers and their supporters kicked off a 4-day march in the San Joaquin Valley. The march organizers want to draw attention to the region's need for irrigation water. A combination of drought and court-ordered cutbacks aimed at protecting an endangered fish have had a devastating impact on the area. The 4,000-person march was led by comedian-turned-activist Paul Rodriguez.
Can anybody live without water? I don't think so. I feel stupid trying to convince people of an issue that is so simple.
This region provides the lettuce, the tomatoes, everything you can possibly think of to the entire state.
The rally will pass through some farming towns where unemployment is as high as 40%. The march will end at the San Luis Reservoir on Friday.
You're watching KCAL 9 News at 2.
Is already causing problems from water shortages to water rate hikes. Farmers and labor contractors are marching across the San Joaquin Valley in Central California. They're protesting the lack of water available to agriculture this growing season. Say it's causing jobs and farms to be lost.
Going through hell with this deal. My family is in jeopardy of losing the farm.
Well, the drought and water supply restrictions will have Southern California under mandatory water conservation this summer. The Metropolitan Water District will cut water supplies to local utilities by 10%. Utilities that use more than their allocation will pay penalties to the MWD. In anticipation, LA plans to get residents to reduce water usage by 15%.
I feel stupid trying to convince people of an issue that is so simple.
Comedian Paul Rodriguez helped kick off a 4-day March for Water by farm workers. They say they are being dried out of work, not only by the drought conditions, but by highly restrictive water allocations for their fields. One water district says some 250,000 acres will not be farmed this year due to the lack of water.
Compañero Pinto. Salió una buena cantidad de gente a marchar por los campos en el área de la porción central de nuestro estado. Ellos pensando verde y actuando verde están tratando de conservar el agua, el líquido vital que hace la diferencia entre la vida y la muerte. El agua fue la causa por la cual cientos de trabajadores del campo se manifestaron. Fíjese, mire nada más, voltea la pantalla. Agricultores, trabajadores del campo no tienen trabajo en los campos de California porque como no hay agua para regar casi 250,000 acres de terreno, esto de acuerdo con cifras de Westland Water District, significa que no hay cosecha que levantar. Entonces no hay raya, pues no hay salario, no hay jornada. La Coalición Latina por el Agua comenzó ayer en Mendota esta marcha que va a terminar hasta el viernes en la Reserva del Agua de San Luis. Y esto para manifestarse en contra de las reglas que impuso el Estado, que han cortado el agua para ciertas zonas como parte de esfuerzos para conservar el hábitat de un pez que está en peligro de extinción en un manto acuífero de otra zona. Esto ha provocado el 40% de desempleo en el área. Mira nada más. Los camiones, no fue una cosita así nada más.
No, así estoy viendo, para nada.
Fue una manifestación masiva y eso es lo que está ahorita en esa zona. Tierra seca, no hay agua. Wow. Es que hasta que no lo ves así en pantalla no ves la dimensión de lo que es. ¿Y sabe qué es el problema más grande? Que allí es donde crecen los tomates, las lechugas, las verduras. Sí. Y cuando no hay, el precio se va para arriba.
Sin agua no hay comida, es muy simple. O sea, el agua es vital, es absolutamente vital para nuestra subsistencia.
Day 2 of the 4-day March for Water, and marchers aren't slowing down.
Today, hundreds walk along Interstate 5 in Fresno County, headed for Los Banos. As CBS 47's Christina Musan shows us, the group wants water reform.
They march for water and their livelihood.
All these people you see around here without water, they don't have a job. I don't have crops to grow.
Early Wednesday morning, Sean Coburn and hundreds of Central Valley farmers and farm workers marched for a second day in a row, continuing a 4-day, 50-mile march to the San Luis Reservoir.
I'll walk 100 miles. I'll walk all the way if this works.
The group says this year's drought and reduced pumping from the Sacramento-San Joaquin to protect the endangered smelt has left acres fallow and thousands without work.
If the government is willing to bail out car companies, they're willing to bail out banks who made fraudulent loans, why shouldn't they take care of us, you know?
Comedian Paul Rodriguez says the march is to get legislators' attention. And after just one day, Fresno County Supervisor Phil Larson says they have.
This has got a phone call from the governor's office last night.
The group wants the pumps in the Delta back on, the Environmental Species Act revised, and a comprehensive water bond on the ballot. For Coburn.
Most people don't realize, when a person sits down and eats a cantaloupe, they don't realize they've just consumed 25 gallons of water.
Marchers spend day 2 marching alongside I-5. Day 3, they'll continue their path towards Los Banos. In Fresno County, Christina Musan, CBS 47, on your side.
And in a statement today, Congressman George Radonovich commends the marchers, saying, quote, extreme environmentalists possess a backwards ideology that places the needs of fish over the needs of humans, which can no longer be tolerated. He plans to join that march on Friday.
This is ABC 7 News at 6.
More than $1 billion in federal stimulus money is heading west for some much-needed water projects, the lion's share coming to Northern California. But as ABC 7's Nanette Miranda reports, it's a good start to a much more expensive problem.
The federal government has not been interested for years in helping California solve its water problems. So state leaders are relieved to see President Obama's Interior Secretary Ken Salazar here in California, seeing firsthand by air how the drought and the complicated decades-old Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta are failing to meet the state's water needs.
It is time to modernize. It is time to make hard choices. And it is time for the federal government to re-engage in full partnership.
Secretary Salazar says that $260 million earmarked just for California can be used for new groundwater wells, screens to protect fish, and conservation efforts. The governor's happy to see the feds step up with a down payment on the state's multi-billion-dollar water problem because he hasn't gotten any help from the legislature.
We must work together in order to fix California's water system for the sake of our economy and for the sake of our environment.
While the plan is desperately needed, not everyone is happy about it. Critics say it fails to address water needs right now. Central Valley farmers and farm workers have been marching for days, highlighting how the water shortage is killing their business. They say the long-term help is great, but
we need water right now. I mean, most of us won't be around later on unless we get water now.
Farmers say thousands of acres will sit barren as long as the drought and a court order remains intact that prevents more water to be pumped to lands to protect endangered fish. In Sacramento, Nanette Miranda, ABC 7 News.